What is going on, everyone? This is Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is December 3rd, 2020. Hope you all had a great trading day today. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today we're going to be talking about the price action, the indices, volatility. We're going to go under the hood and check out the sectors and style factors, look at some of the trades I took, and then we will wrap up with some options order flow. But before we jump in, quick risk disclaimer: nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan. And last but not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. So with that being said, let's jump right in. So let's take a look. Today was, it was kind of a choppy day, not really much going on. We started off the day with some headlines saying that, Los Angeles was going to be doing another lockdown. Germany was going to be continuing their lockdown, and nothing was really reacting to it. Like, to be honest, we ended up having a day where a lot of the, high growth, high flying stocks came out of the gate pretty strong, but it was the value stocks and the cyclicals, high beta, that really took off. But you can see we had a little bit of a liquidation break towards the end of the day. We ended up getting a headline out of Pfizer saying they were going to have to adjust their timeline for their vaccine, and the rollout was going to take about twice as long as expected. So we did have some volatility towards the end of the day. Let's take a look. The scores ended up being S&P 500 down 0.03%. We had the Qs up 0.14%. We had the IWM small caps up 0.56%, and last but not least, we have the Dow Jones up 0.29%. So let's take a look at the ES. This is the hourly chart, and you can see here we're trending above the weekly value area, but really not that far extended from it. So there's always this risk. We get a candle like this, like, are we going to dive right into that value area? Be a pretty benign price action for the moment, at least. Let's take a look on the daily chart, and what you're going to see is going to look very similar. So let's take a look. Yep, we've been having our nice little bullish sequence here, but we did put in a doji candle. So at this point, we're slightly above that monthly value area, but people aren't, there's not really a lot of enthusiasm here, between the buyers or the sellers. I am noticing that, almost every dip is being bought. So we keep tagging this level, about 36.52. Every time we tag it, there are dip buyers that come in, but there's not really much of a willingness, at least at the moment, to push this thing up to around 3,700. So we'll just have to wait and see. When the tape gets very slow, like it's becoming, that is where I try to slow down with it. And this is very important, where when you're trading, a lot of people, especially new traders, every day they want to be buying more and more and more. So it's like, all right, market didn't move anywhere, buy stocks. Market didn't move anywhere, buy stocks. Market didn't move anywhere, buy stocks. Same thing, other traders that want to short. Market does nothing, short more. Market does nothing, short more. Like, you just want to be cognizant of where your risk is. And once you have, that appropriate amount of risk on, and you express your, your market posture, you don't have to keep making lots and lots of adjustments when the market's not really doing much. So that is what I am purposefully trying to do, where if the market does nothing, maybe I make a little tweak, but I'm not going to revamp my entire portfolio every day. So that's the S&P 500. Let's take a look at the Qs. Let's see the Qs. Yep, these ones are value area, exponential moving average, but also just really putting in a bit of a doji candle. IWM, this one is going to look pretty interesting because the small caps were very strong, and then once Pfizer being much slower on the rollout of the vaccine, the small caps really, took a little bit of a dive, but really not even that much in the grand scheme. see there was a high of about like 185. And we hit a low, the low of the day was around like 182. Yeah, so not really much action. We closed really at that monthly value area high. So again, we're going to have to wait and see. This is the kind of action where the trend is up. So I am bullish until proven bearish. But, we're not really moving much. So again, this is where I want to be cognizant of what I have on. So let's take a look. Dow Jones is going to look very similar. Always looks pretty similar to the small caps. Let's take a look just in case. Let's see what we got. Man, I keep getting my Bitcoin alert. Bitcoin just keeps chopping around on the same levels. Yeah, Dow Jones looks very similar, reacted to that news, but we'll have to see if this is just a small liquidation break. So now let's take a look into these sectors and style factors for today and see where the strength was, where the weakness was, and take it from there. Cannabis companies, the YOLO ETF still in first place in terms of momentum. Not really an impressive day today, up 0.24%. We had the ARC Genomics ETF up 3.95%. And really CRISPR has been pulling a lot of the weight there. We went over that in our last video. Then you have the ARC Innovation ETF. So this is actually like, the Innovation ETF has not been in the lead for a while in terms of momentum. Let's actually take a look and see what is going on there. This is one I love buying on dips. I love buying this one on the big corrections when no one else wants to buy it. So yeah, this one looks pretty bullish. Yeah, this one is, well above the monthly value area high. It did not close on the highs today, but this one is in a very nice trend above the 5-day exponential moving average. Let's take a look. So we have that. Then on the weaker side, we have utilities down 1.04%. We have KWeb up 1.38%. And we have the home builders. Pretty solid day for the home builders, up 1.97%. But you can see pretty mixed. Medical devices, in the red. Only a couple of, spaces in the red. And we have the solar stocks, which have had, a high amount of momentum. I closed my calls, a couple of days ago, as I said in my video. The solar stocks had just run a lot. And I just took some profits, for prudence. And luckily, it worked out where these solar stocks ended up, selling off quite a bit. It's another sector that I just think has a lot of momentum, so I love buying the dips in the solar stocks. Yeah, a little bit of a red candle. I would love to see what the interaction is like at the 20-day simple moving average. In my opinion, that's probably where I want to add my position back. If we look at the style factors, the high beta style factor up 1.99%. Earlier in the day, it was actually much more than that. And then on the bottom end, we have minimum volatility and defensives. So that is telling you this market is risk on when you see that the defensives and the min vol are lagging in terms of momentum. So this reopening trade, we'll have to see if that headline about Pfizer, if it's even a dent in it, or if it's really just like a little blip. Like some people might interpret that and be like, oh, it's being postponed. It's going to be a little bit slower than thought, but the vaccine is still coming out. So I'm going to take any sign of weakness as a buying opportunity. And, clearly nothing really, changed. Like for instance, like I was looking at the cruise stocks today. And I had a swing long in the cruise stocks for a while before I recently closed it. And you can see these cruise stocks, you would think, okay, if the vaccine's being delayed, the cruise stocks are really going to suffer. But you can see like Norwegian is barely off the highs. Let me, it's getting all messed up here. Okay. Yeah, you can see Norwegian, Carnival Cruises as well. Trading near the high of the day, barely even came off. And this is on pretty good volume too. So, this might just be one of those little headline blips. We'll have to wait and see. Something that I have on long term. This one, it came off quite a bit. but we will have to see. And then in terms of some stocks I am watching, Jumia is one I put on earlier in Samantha's room for Leduc Trading. This one is very interesting in my point of view. Jumia, let's take a look. Jumia is one where, it does have the potential to be the Amazon of Africa. This is a name I know a lot of people have participated in and traded. But this one I think could have a very long runway in terms of just being in a nice trend for, months and even years. So like this one, they do e-commerce. I believe they're expanding into media. They have a lot of good things going on. And the other thing which really compelled me to buy this was they just completed a secondary offering, which is dilutive to their existing shareholders. And I've seen with these secondary offerings, a lot of times it just completely torpedoes the stock. And for this one, you could see how aggressive the dip buyers came in on the completion of that secondary. So to me, this is a super bullish reaction to it. And it shows me that you have, large investors that are willing to, buy the dip, even if they are diluting their shareholders. You can see we dipped into the monthly value area only for one day, then came out of it on high volume. Today was really more of just like a doji day. But I initiated that position using commons. Because the thing is, with how complacent the market is, this is a stock where it's sort of like a long-term hold for me. And I don't want to get shaken out of options just because of timing or anything like that. So I figured, let me go with the common stock and I'll stick with it, for as long as I can. And then we have some other ones I am watching. DKNG. So I put out my video maybe a couple weeks ago about why I think DKNG could be a $100 stock. I still believe that, and I am long DKNG, but I am actually sizing up some call options on DKNG or potentially a call calendar spread. This is one where had a very bearish sequence, and I was in short puts for this. So I remember riding this thing essentially the whole way down. Luckily, the trade ended up working out. I used the 45 strike, and we're having this nice little sequence up. DKNG is inside of the monthly value area. I would love to see a trigger above it, but I do see we had this pivot high right here. The stock traded lower, dip buyers came in, and we're sort of, this little area is really just like a sideways consolidation in my view. So I definitely want to see it get above this monthly value area, and I would likely initiate some calls or a calendar spread in addition to my long commons. So let's see. And then we have Dollar Tree as well. This one it's not, the sexiest stock in the world, but, it is in a nice trend. It had a very nice gap on earnings, and you can see it's really consolidating those gains pretty well, trending above the 5-day exponential moving average. I'm actually thinking about doing just some sort of diagonal call spread for this one. Not really an aggressive bull trade, but just something, pretty simple. And then let's take a look. I believe I had one more. Then Pinduoduo, this one as well. You can even just pull it up right here. This one looks very interesting. So you can see it's consolidating after also reporting, really strong earnings. And you're having this really nice digestion period. And the Chinese equities, have been outperformers for a while, really since COVID began. With the Chinese internet ETF KWEB is actually taking a break in terms of the momentum. So it looks like this one, it's just kind of moving sideways to up maybe a little bit. But in terms of a group that hasn't really run and isn't super extended, I do like these Chinese internet names. Pinduoduo is towards the upper end of its recent range. So I always look at this one. I've traded this one pretty actively, a couple of times on the long side. So those are the stocks that I'm watching for tomorrow. And then let's take a look at the options order flow just to see what we had going on today. Let's see. This is the economic calendar. Another thing, we are going to have the jobs number tomorrow. So we'll have to see what that does for the market. Let's see, I've got so many tabs up here. Okay, here we go. So let's take a look inside good old Cheddarflow. You can see that the flow for today was 65% calls, 35% puts. And we've had, really since the election, just a lot of call buying. Before the election, everyone got super bearish. Now everyone's getting super bullish, which makes sense. We have a vaccine on the horizon. Things are looking good. But I just want to be cognizant of when this changes. Oh, wow. Looks like we had some hedges come in, at the end of the day here. Okay, so that's a little different. That's interesting. So let's take a look. $1 million and up. Because the big institutions are the ones moving the market. Oh, look at this, a dark pool print for Fubo. I know a lot of people love that Fubo stock. Might have to take a look at that one as well. Let's see, we have at 4:15 some SPY hedges coming in. So I'm guessing it's in response to, that headline about the COVID vaccine. That is interesting. And let's see MAC. Everything that happened late in the day, I know somebody was probably responding to that headline. So this is kind of like, what does this player think would be a good short? On a COVID vaccine not being rolled out properly. Okay, MAC. Oh, a REIT. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Real estate investment trust, which focuses on the acquisition, leasing, management, development, and redevelopment of regional malls. That's funny. Okay. So they hedged with this. They're probably going to lose this trade, let's be honest. And then we have EEM, emerging markets. We have some calls for March. We have Tesla, the bullish call fest continues as always. We have Boeing with some call activity. We've been seeing that quite a bit. Nvidia. It's not one. I haven't seen Nvidia in a while. Over the summer, Nvidia was coming up a lot. Oh wow, and Nvidia is just in a consolidation. I want to see what they did here. Okay, for January, 530 strike calls. Where's Nvidia trading right now? Okay, so they're going slightly in the money. This is a pretty conservative play. They're just going, these are probably like a 55 delta call. And, who knows what they're playing for, but they are bullish on Nvidia. That about does it. Everything else is, pretty similar stuff to what we always see. A Moderna play. I see MPC right here. So that being said, that about does it for my market recap video. I'm going to be watching out for the jobs number in the morning. With that being said, I hope you all had a great trading day, and I will see you all tomorrow.